Hey everybody, it's Eric here from Laughix. Got another video for you guys today. Well, we got this Alienware laptop that we actually did a data recovery for. So it has two separate hard drives in there. There's one NVMe for fast booting to the OS, and then it also has a data drive in there, a mechanical data drive. It's a 1 terabyte Seagate drive that is for like storing data, storing games, or whatever you want to put on there. Now, there was an issue with the 1 terabyte Seagate drive that gave an issue to the 500 gig drive, not in a direct way where it affects the 500 gigabyte drive, but it affects the operating system. Because if you have a problem with one of the drives, if you have like a laptop that has multiple drives, or if you have a computer or desktop that has multiple drives in there, if one of the drives has a problem, it's going to sometimes like blue screen or get pretty slow, or maybe when you're trying to click on something, it might take a little bit of time to load with a little loading circle there, and it was giving the problem. So it blue screened a bunch of times, and the OS corrupted on the main SSD drive there, and now they can't access the data on either one. They can't get to the data. They have data they want to get off of the C drive as well as the D drive in there. So the C drive, we were able to do easy transfer for that. That wasn't really much of a problem. And then we can reload the OS. And then there's obviously the main problem is that there is a 1 terabyte Seagate drive that has more of a failure on there. So usually what we like to do, especially if we see the size of the drive is 1 terabyte, when we do recovery, we like to just pretty much get the same exact size on there, right? So we like to get like a 1 terabyte mechanical drive, like a USB one, to transfer the data to. That's actually why the customer's here, but that's not the point of the video. The point of the video is they brought in a drive for us to transfer the data to. So they brought in this really interesting drive, and we see that this is a 16 terabyte SSD. It just says 16 terabyte SSD external hard drive. That's all it says. And there's no branding on it anywhere, just the back. It looks very generic. It looks like someone probably just made that with the type of font there. It's very, very generic font too. Hey man, maybe even I made it too while I was editing this video. I don't know. But it looks so generic. It's so basic. So when you see something like this, right, a 16 terabyte is a very, very big, it's a massive capacity. I can't imagine how much someone would actually spend for, like if Samsung made it or something, because I don't believe they even have a 16 terabyte one. I was at least making this video, unless it's some. I'll look it up. If I see it, I'll post it here to show how expensive it is. But these ones, I do believe, I've heard stories about these ones, I've read about them before, is that usually they're kind of like fake ones, right? And they're fake SSDs, even though they read as like a 16 terabyte. So I played a little experiment with it, right? I didn't believe this because the customer was he actually went somewhere else before he came here too, and they were having trouble transferring the data to this SSD anyway. And I was just thinking, well, and he believes that there is data that was transferred from the old place from his C drive over to here. And I looked at it, and for some reason stuff is empty, right? There's some folders that are empty. So let's plug this in and actually see what's going on with it here. Had the cable. Here it is. Okay. So let's plug this in and see it's a USB-C drive too. Okay, so let's plug this in. Oh man, you heard the noise. There's already an error with it. Just says there's a problem with this drive. And let's go screen capture. So it's still popped up here. I guess this one's a little bit more generic. I guess I can. But you see there's nothing actually in this folder. Let's see if I even click here. It's the properties. There's nothing in it. Yeah, there's nothing in this folder. It shows it's been accessed recently. And as well as it looks like that there was a few other ones. You can check the date modified. So there's supposed to be a backup for it. And if we click the backup, there's nothing in the backup as well. But we do have this. You guys can at least see this one here. And let's make it on a view. Let's do list, I think, so you guys can see this. No, not list, details. So you guys can at least see the size. So these are all JPEG files. They have very generic names anyway, but the icon, I'll show the icon at least on the left. There's no actual icon for the image itself. If I try to open one up, right, it just shows that it's not supported on this file format. And we see even in the corner here, it shows that there is a size for it. There's a 4 megabyte size, and there's about 7,000 items. There is lots of different stuff in here, right? And yeah, so it's not opening, but there's supposedly supposed to be some size in there. Now let me close this out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into disk management here, and let's see what disk management actually shows here. So this will come up. We should have it's called SSD. So it does show up here. You can see there's a 16 terabyte size itself, but obviously there's nothing else here. I mean, it's a regular exFAT partition. and we don't see any problems with that because that looks about correct. It's about 16 terabytes, so they take about 400 gigs. They probably would take more, I would think, if it's formatted, right? It should probably take even more. We obviously see the size, we see stuff like that. So really, what's going on? I think the best thing to do would be, let's just open it up and take a look what's going on with it, right? Because that's really strange if it's showing up the size and it's giving a problem. It doesn't really seem to be like a true SSD, right? Or something is going on there, and it's faking something, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Let's open it up. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and open this. Let's put this to the side, and let's see what we got here. What is this, man? Where's the SSD? Where's the M.2? So we take a look, and we see that there's just a board. There's nothing on even the other side of the board here. And this is interesting because it looks like this is just an SD card, right? And there's a very small, looks like a controller here, and there's just USB connection. And I would assume there should be something there, right? There should be like NAND or something. So I'm just going to take this out. So what this is inside here is this is just an SD card. Now, I don't know if the SD card is playing tricks or if this is just for a controller, but as you can see, even a 16 terabyte SD card that's not even branded on here, there's no brand. It's just black. Look, it blends with my glove. There's no brand on here. It's just an SD card. So let's actually plug in the SD card. I'm going to go ahead and I have this nice one actually for specific cards here. Let's go ahead and plug this into my adapter and see if it changes anything else. But it shouldn't, because this is just a connector. So this is going to show up. Now, I really don't think there is a 16 terabyte flash on this little thing here. So let's plug this in and see if I get the light and stuff. And let's see if it should act the same way. And put that in that way. So let's go ahead and plug this in with our adapter. Okay, so it did pop up as well. And this one, it's asking me that I need to format it. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this over because it's really interesting. Now this is asking me to format it. So I'm going to hit cancel. Oops. I'm going to cancel, cancel. And now it says it's not accessible. So does it still bring up here? So now this shows up as a probably a 64 gigabyte SD card. And you see it's in a raw format, right? So it looks like something else is going on there. And it's not an actual 16 terabyte SSD, right? So that's really interesting. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to format it there, obviously, because it's still the customer's thing. But let's go ahead and plug this back in. And see what's going on. So we'll plug it back in here. Let's plug this back in, and it's not a real simple slot just to plug it back into. There you go. Takes a little bit of force there. So let's go ahead and plug this in yet again and see what happens. And it comes back up here. There's still the error there because I'm just ignoring it for now because I don't want to format. And now it comes back as the 16 terabyte SSD, right? And here it goes. It shows all the data all over again. So you guys can see that looks like that this is like a 64 gigabyte SD card that's in here, and it's showing up as a 16 terabyte SSD. What we know about 16 terabyte SSDs for external drives, you really don't see them from major manufacturers. I think Samsung makes up to like a 4 terabyte, if I'm not mistaken, on their external SSD, at least making this video for consumer grade. Those still are a little bit pretty expensive, just getting those sizes. You're not getting anything for a very cheap cost. I did look these up for some of the manufacturers, or not really manufacturers, but some of the websites that have been selling them. The websites that have been selling them, they're less than $100, and they can go pretty low. That doesn't make any sense anyway, and you're going to get what you pay for. You're not even going to get what you pay for, right? Because it's not even going to work, probably for the most time. You can see this is pretty much, you could pretty much tell this is kind of like a scam. You're not getting exactly what you're supposed to be getting. And this is a good thing to come from a data recovery center, is to let you guys know you shouldn't play around with stuff like this, especially cheap products that don't have name brands, that don't have good controllers, that don't have good flash, because obviously stuff can happen anyway, right? With the best of the best that you can get, you can still have issues. We made videos on all types of SSDs and external drives and stuff like that. So there's already problems that you can have anyway, and you don't want to add to that, especially when you have your data. Because we know, especially if you're buying a big capacity drive like this, or you're looking for something like that, is that you're definitely backing up data that's very, very important to you. And we always think data is important to you anyway, but especially on these sizes, you probably have more important stuff than typical, like 2 terabyte, 1 terabyte documents. You probably have production work and other things going on there, just multiple backups of a lot of things, right? Pictures and stuff. So don't risk that to go on one of these cheaper SSDs. Just get the best name brand you possibly can. If you're going to get a mechanical drive, especially in the higher capacity ones, you're going to see how expensive they are. They're not ridiculously expensive to get like a 16 terabyte, but always make sure you have a redundant backup of that, because those can fail as well. So hope you guys enjoyed watching this video and found this video informative. If you did, please leave a like. It really does help us a lot. Subscribe for more content. We'll see you guys next video. Thanks all for watching, guys. Take care. Bye.